Hello, my name is Leila Salmons. I'm a speech-language pathologist and my company name is Therapy Connections. We have been servicing the greater Houston area for over 15 years now. We go into private schools, Montessori schools, daycares, and provide speech therapy services for those families that need them. So the purpose of this video is to help you identify when is it appropriate to refer a child for a speech and language screening. Let's start out by what is a speech screening. A speech screening is a 20-minute snapshot of your child looking at the area of speech and language. Are they developing appropriately? Are they where they should be for their age when compared to their age-matched peers? It is not an evaluation. So we take this speech screening and we determine, does the child need a complete speech and language evaluation? At that time, we work with the parent to go ahead and get that scheduled and provide services, therapy services, if that is what is needed. So, who do you refer? What do you look for? There are some red flags. 1, you're looking for that frustrated child. 2, you're looking for a child who's quiet. 3, you're looking for a child who plays alone. So these are just some simple red flags that you can maybe immediately think of a child who fits into one of these 3 categories. Once you have, then you take it a step further and you ask yourself, okay, why is a child frustrated? Is it because he's being misunderstood? Is it because he's being asked to repeat himself often? Why is the child quiet? Is it because it's difficult to get the words out? And why is the child playing alone? Is it because he's having a hard time communicating with his peers? Therefore, maybe the peers are getting, losing interest and not wanting to play with them. So play becomes difficult. So you're asking yourself why. Why is the child frustrated? Why is he quiet? Why is he playing alone? And then you start to consider, is it articulation, for example? How is the child developing his speech sounds? Does he speak clearly? Are there any substitutions? Is there a W for an R? That example is wabbit instead of rabbit, which is a very common example. There's also a child who's maybe substituting the T for a K, so he says tar instead of car. That's going to be the area of articulation, looking at the phonemes, the speech sounds. Are they being developed clearly? Next, we look at the area of language, and we divide that into 2 separate areas, the area of receptive language and the area of expressive language. So in the area of receptive language, is the child able to follow directions? Is the child learning age-appropriate concepts? Are they retaining those concepts, using them functionally? And is their memory where it should be? Are they retaining, the material that's being learned? How is the memory? Then we look at the expressive language. The expressive language is, how is the child sharing ideas? Is the child telling a simple story with a beginning, middle, and end? How are the narratives? Is the child able to answer and ask WH questions that are age appropriate? The next area you can start to consider is the area of stuttering. Does this child have disfluencies? Are there part word repetitions or are there whole word repetitions? Now, some disfluencies are normal. It's appropriate for some children when they're developing, that their brain is developing faster than their mouths are motorically, and there's some struggle there for a little bit. But they should all, develop, eventually get past that. The other area is social skills. So in the area of social skills, is the child able to do pretend play appropriately? Are their turn-taking skills good? Is the attention and eye contact good? Are they playing with others well? Okay, so these are the things you look at. How are they doing socially? Because sometimes the language impacts that. So if you've kind of thought about a child and you're seeing what I'm explaining in that child, then that's going to be a child who's going to benefit from a speech screening. So you have a child you're concerned about. There's a primary concern. So how do you do the referral? Well, you're going to be provided with a consent form. You take that consent form, share it with the parent, explain to them this is an opportunity for a fully licensed speech-language pathologist to spend 20 minutes with your child and identify, is there an area of need in the area of speech or language? Then you want to think about, what are the parents' concerns? And there's going to be a section where we ask teacher or parent to write down an example of the child's speech and the language. And you can describe, and that'll help a speech pathologist when doing their screening. Next, you want to ask the parent to sign that consent form. The teacher then, on the day the screening is scheduled, will give that consent form to the speech pathologist. The speech pathologist takes the child from the classroom, completes the speech screening. At the end of the speech screening, the child returns to the class with that form, and at the bottom there'll be a pass or a fail, and maybe a description of why, what are the weaknesses, and maybe what are the strengths, just depending on what the speech pathologist discovered during that session. That consent form, speech screening form, goes home with the parent same day as that screening. So the parent will know that same day, did my child, how did he do today at that speech screening? At that point, what happens next is Therapy Connections will contact the parent if the child failed the speech screening and a full speech language evaluation is being recommended. Therapy Connections does accept insurance. We will take insurance verification information, go over benefits with the parent, and explain financial responsibility. All payment goes directly from the parent to the company, Therapy Connections, so the school will not be involved or in the middle of collecting payment. All right, so it's pretty simple. And just to recap, a summary: who are you looking for? Who would be a good candidate for a speech and language screening? It's going to be your child who's frustrated, quiet, or not playing well with others because of speech and language issues. Maybe the child who can't share about their day, can't tell you what they had to eat for breakfast. The child who isn't able to tell a simple story. The child who can't answer questions. The child who cannot answer questions. All right, well, I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please email me at salmons@therapyconnectionspc.com. Salmons, SALMONS, @therapyconnections with an S, pc.com. Thank you.